Okay, so these are our practice problems for today. We're going to use the steps that we just talked about in the video. Okay, it's going to be very important, especially since I'm at home today, that when you want to answer a question or you have something to say, that you make sure that you are raising your digital hand and that you're waiting to be called on today. Okay, all right, so let me see if I can quickly write down our steps. Oh, please work, please work. Okay. So, raising your digital hand, who can tell me what the first step in estimating decimal quotients is? Ooh, got a lot of hands. All right, Brandon, what's my first step? Very good. Yes. Yeah, you're right. That's divisor. I know that's kind of a weird word. Okay. Lyric, can you tell me the second step? Okay, so you're very correct. Yes. So the relationships, remember that's looking at the multiplication chart, and then you make your compatible numbers. Okay. All right, step three. Michelle, what's step three? Deal with the zero if needed. Yeah, we're not going to have zeros every time, are we? So sometimes we don't have to worry about that. And actually, we'll probably deal with more zeros later on this week than we will today. All right, and the last step. Sadie, what's the last step? Divide. Very good. All right, guys, so go ahead and lower your digital hands. All right, so when I'm looking at 7 divided by 8500, okay, remember the first step is round the divisor. This is the divisor. So raising your digital hand, what do you think we should do with 8500? Okay, Brandon, I see your hand, but you're not going to answer every question today. All right. Elijah, what would you do with 8500s? Okay, I could do that. Is 90 hundredths a friendly number? Not really. Okay. So think about what might be a friendly number if we're dealing with 8500. Okay. So I hear you say 100 or 80. Okay. So like let's think about what that means in the context of a decimal. Okay. So the 100 would actually be a 1, a whole number, versus 80 would be 80 hundredths. Which one of those is more friendly? 1. So I'm going to change this to 1. Okay, that's not very far away, is it? Okay, not at all. Okay, so now we look for a relationship. Okay, does 1 have a relationship with 7? Yes, because isn't 1 times 7 7? Okay, so that means they have a relationship. So I can keep this here. Okay, so then what is 7 divided by 1? Everybody, 7. So my estimate is 7. Now, I want you to take a look at that for a second because I imagine some of you are probably saying, oh, miss, that was like really easy. It should be harder, okay? It shouldn't, it doesn't have to be hard, guys, okay? It is okay to take a number, a decimal that is close to 1 and change it to 1, okay? Because remember, we want to use compatible numbers which are friendly, okay? Now, I could have used my knowledge of sevens, okay? So I know that 7 times 8, let's see, 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 9 is 63. So I'm getting closer. Let's see, 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 11 is 77. And 7 times 12 is 84. Now, if I want to, I can think about this. 7 times 12 is 84, that relationship. And I can take this 8,500 and I can change it actually to 8,400 because of this relationship. Okay. And then I start thinking of 7 having a relationship with 84. But here's the trick here. Here's what trips us up. I know that this is a relationship here, but thinking about that as a decimal right now, I don't think we're quite ready for that. Okay, we need to work with some decimals a little bit more before we feel comfortable doing this. All right, and remember, still, this if I'm thinking money, this is 85 cents, and 85 cents is very close to a dollar. So I would much rather you change that to a 1 because then you can do it quickly in your head. And remember, that's kind of the whole point of estimating is you want to be able to do stuff quickly in your head. Okay, if you have to sit there and think about something for 5 minutes when you're estimating, it's not a useful tool. Okay, and that's what estimating is. It's supposed to be a useful tool to tell you what is a reasonable answer. Okay, so yes, we could have done that 8,400ths, but rounding it to 1 was actually a lot quicker and easier. Okay, all right, Elijah, lower your hand. Now let's do this one. 9 and 6/10 divided by 91 hundredths. So raising your digital hand, what would you like to do with 91 hundredths? Okay, all I see are a couple of hands. I'm not going to call on Brandon and Elijah every time. Can Traylon, what would you do with 91 hundredths? Yes. Okay. Can Traylon, what would you change 91 hundredths to? Okay. We could do 90 hundredths. Okay. Could we also change it to 1? It's pretty close to 1, right? Okay. All right, Sadie, what would you like to do with this 9 and 6/10? Just 9? Okay. All right, I'm going to show you both of these. Okay. I'm going to show you if I do this as 9 and then this is 90 hundredths. Okay. So that's 9 divided by 9, right? Okay. However, again, that's kind of like what we were talking about over here. Like, I don't think we're quite at this point yet to do this. I could, but not yet. The only reason we're not doing that yet is only because we need to practice with decimals more. Okay. I think what I'd like to do, if I keep this as 1, then I can keep this as 9.6 because remember, 1 has a relationship with every number, right? So I can do 9.6 divided by 1. So everybody, what's 9 and 6/10 divided by 1? 9 and 6/10. Very good. Okay. All right. Very good. Go ahead and mute yourself. Now looking at 17 and 7/10 divided by 3 and 2/10. I'm going to start calling on some people that I haven't heard from yet. Antoine, what would you do with 3 and 2/10? Okay. Wyana, help him out. What would you do with 3 and 2 tenths? Oh, sorry, Antoine, you were just about to say it. So, Antoine, what would you do to 3 and 2 tenths? I'm sorry, you would keep it the same as 3 and 2 tenths friendly? Is that a number that you can work with quickly in your head? Antoine, I'm thinking that we would change the 3 and 2 tenths probably to 3. Okay. 3 is a more friendly number than 3 and 2 tenths. Okay. All right. So now we look at our relationships. Does 3 have a relationship with 17? Anybody can raise your digital hand. Do 3 and 17 have a relationship? Roger, they have a relationship? Mhm. Okay, very good. So I heard you say 3 times 5 is 15, and then 3 times 6 is 18. So Roger, would you rather change this to a 15 or an 18? Okay, very good. Now, so my question is, could I have chosen the 3 times 5 is 15? Would that have worked? Okay, well, hold on, Brandon. So let Roger say what he needs to say, then we'll come back to you. So, Roger, what are you thinking? Okay, okay. All right, so Brandon, what are you thinking? Okay, so I think you're both correct. I think that this one is closer because it's only 3 tenths away. Okay, however, I think if we did this, we could also still get a pretty close answer. Okay, so if I do 18 divided by 3, well, here's the relationship. So that estimate is 6. And then if I did 15 divided by 3, that would be 5. So what that tells me is that the real answer is probably between 5 and 6. Okay? So I agree with both of you. Both of you are correct. All right? Yes. Mhm. Okay. All right. So that's a good thought too. So for some of you, maybe that five relationship would be easier. Okay. All right, let's do this last one. Sorry, guys. All right. What would we do with 4 and 9 tenths? Think about that one. Ooh, lots of hands for that one. Okay, Julissa, what would you like to do with 4 and 9 tenths? Oh my, Traylon, wow. I'm not sure what's going on with Contralin, why it's so difficult. Okay, Julissa, what would you do with 4 and 9 tenths? 5? Okay. All right. So next I'm looking at my relationships. Does 5 have a relationship with 91? Okay. I'm not sure who that was talking. Probably. I mean, I'm thinking there's issues on his end if everybody else can see. All right, Kamari. Does 5 have a relationship with 91? No. Okay. And I know that because remember, every multiple of 5, doesn't it have to end in a 0 or a 5? It does. Okay. So, Kamari, what would you change that 91 to? 90. Okay. All right. Now, can we do 90 divided by 5 quickly in our head? Some of us, yes. What if we couldn't? Is there another number that I could change that 91 to that would be quicker to divide by 5 in our head? Mm, I think 95 would actually probably be harder. But what about 100? Okay. Right. Well, except that this is a whole number, right? Okay. So I'm kind of not thinking about this right now. I'm just thinking of it as a whole number. So, okay. Because I know that 100 divided by 5 is 20. I know that pretty quickly. Okay. But because that went way up, that's like a way overestimate, right? Okay. So for 90 divided by 5, that we might have to actually write out. Okay. So how many fives can go into 9? Everybody. 1. Okay. If I take that away, I'm left with 4, and I can bring down my 0. And everybody, how many groups of 5 can I get out of 40? 8. Okay, good. So that means that, oops, I should finish. That means that 90 divided by 5 is 18. Okay, and we did round that one down. So it's possible that the real answer here is probably going to be somewhere between 18 and 20. Okay, all right. Are there any questions about any of these problems? Okay, all right. I'm going to stop the video.